This way. We'll record to the cloud. Okay. All right. Good morning, everyone. Happy Friday. And thank you so much for joining me this morning for this week's Coffee with the Principal, which is on Zoom. I hope you have had a good week. And I'm excited to be bringing on a special guest who will be sharing information with our families here this morning through Coffee with the Principal. One quick update, and I'm going to I'm going to turn over to our guest in just a moment. I don't have a whole lot of updates this week because some of you may know or may have just assumed, since I have not been at school all week. That is true, and I'm not at school today. And the reason for that is because I tested positive for COVID. So just like everybody else who, when this happens, I have been isolating, recovering. Symptoms have been moderate but improving, and my goal is to be back to campus early next week. But I've been really thrilled at our team, Ms. Guith, Mr. Medellin, who've led the way this week while I have been away and recovering. But nonetheless, since Coffees with the Principal are on Zoom, I wanted to, keep our time here together. And so thank you again so much for joining today. And you have joined the meeting muted. Feel free to use the chat box as needed. We are recording the meeting, and we encourage you to leave your video on, but you certainly don't have to. And then, we'll have some time for Q&A. And again, I am super excited to be welcoming a special guest to our Coffee with the Principal today. I'm going to introduce her. Val Green works for Portal Schools, which is one of the high schools that is in our local area. One of the things I do every fall through Coffee with the Principal is I try to invite various members of different high schools to come and join us for a Coffee with the Principal to share a little bit more about their school and why their school might be a great option for some of our families. And so I'm gonna turn it over to Val. And Val, you've got the floor. You've got about 20 minutes or so, and then you have some time for Q&A at the end. So welcome, Val. So glad that you're here.
Awesome. Nice to meet you all. So I'm going to share my screen with you all. So as Dr. Huntsberger said, my name is Valerie Green. I support Portal Schools overseeing admissions and student recruitment, but previously worked in schools, in middle and high schools as an English teacher, and worked, in a couple of different charter schools in the area. So I'm just super excited to be here today. I believe that there are a lot of really great options for high school programs, and Portal Schools is one of them. So I really view my role in the admissions and recruitment world as really helping families make a match that is a good fit for them. So Portal is a unique option, and I'll kind of walk you through some of the details today. This is really designed to be an introduction to Portal. And so if you are interested or even just curious and want to learn more, there's many, many sort of avenues or next steps that we could take. So to kick things off, I'll do kind of the high level, and then I'll dig into specific aspects of our program. So Portal is designed to be a network of independent micro schools. So by independent schools, we're a private school in the area, but I'll talk more about that in a second. We are a micro school, meaning that we serve at each of our campuses approximately 60 students. And this is really core to our model because it allows for a lot of the personalization and individualization that is so central to our success with students. We opened our first campus in August 2021. So 2 years ago, we're in our second year, and our campus is embedded within a company, which is very unique. So we are in partnership with a company called Belkin International. They used to be in Playa Vista, right near the Google hangar, but they have since moved to El Segundo. So just beyond LAX, not too far though. We have lots of families that come from Playa Vista, Westchester, and much further north. So lots of families are making the drive to Portal. I like to highlight we're WASC accredited. So in our first year, we went through the WASC approval process and received accreditation. So that was very exciting. Our model is really characterized. Oh, before I go to that, I should also share, we have one campus currently in El Segundo, partnered with Belkin, but our plan is to open additional sites. And so next year in 2023, we anticipate opening one additional campus. And if you express interest today, as soon as we confirm the final details for where that school will be and what corporation it's partnered with, we can certainly reach out. So to dig into what Portal Schools is, we have the 4 circles on the right that you see on your screen. So Portal, the first signature practice that we have is students earn both their high school diploma and they complete all of the A through G requirements. Those are the requirements that students need to be Cal State or UC eligible. In addition, students earn significant college credit, and I'll share more about how we do that and what that looks like for the student experience in a few slides. Because we're embedded on a corporate campus, we do something called career immersive learning or career connected learning. There aren't any other schools embedded within companies in LA. It's a really unique opportunity for students to get exposed to lots of different types of careers, to learn more about their interests and strengths, and get some tangible experience that will serve them when they head off beyond high school, college, or beyond to a future job. Next, we're an intentionally diverse community. So I think it's really important to us that our school represents LA and kind of all of its rich diversity. And when we say diversity, we mean every sense of the word: racial diversity, ethnic diversity, religious diversity, socioeconomic diversity. Though we are an independent school, we serve a broad range of types of students. And I will emphasize that we have, though we are tuition based, about 65% of our families are on financial aid. So we have a very robust financial aid program that is need based. So don't let the fact that it's a private school be a reason that you don't consider us. And I always have really transparent conversations with families. We can talk more about that at the end too. And the last element, sorry, that's my dog. The last element is that we focus on personalization and individualization. So I think many families coming out of the pandemic really were left recognizing that their student has really unique needs. And so we built a school designed around the unique interests, strengths, and needs of students. So for the sake of time, I'm going to keep going. I wanted to highlight at the beginning here that if you are interested in Portal, we are having an open house coming up on January 27th, and that's at our campus in El Segundo. I'm actually going to flash up this postcard here. If you're interested, there's a QR code there, so you can sign up for an upcoming virtual info session or the open house. And at the open house, you get to meet our head of school, a bunch of teachers, some students and families. You get to tour the campus. So it's really, I don't think there's a better way to get exposed to Portal. So I'll leave that up for just one more second, and I can come back to this at the end. And last, I just wanted to show, before I dive into more of the details, a photo of our ribbon cutting that happened recently. This is a really great celebration to announce the opening of our school. But I think it's just really great to see, all of our students in one place. And this is on the left holding the ribbon, Nadia. She's a graduate from Katherine Johnson STEM Academy. At the ribbon cutting, Nadia was one of the student speakers, and it was just a really special day and such a cool experience to see our students in action. Okay, so to jump into our personalized academic model, I'm going to fly through this, but I feel like there's a lot here. And so again, this is just the start of hopefully many conversations if you're interested. So Portal is designed to be a project-based learning program that is interdisciplinary. So we have the core subjects, but what's happening in science likely connects to something that's happening in humanities. Our teachers are constantly collaborating so that the different projects kind of match up or have commonalities or common themes across them. Additionally, there are, we believe, many ways to demonstrate learning or show your learning. And so projects are designed to give students opportunities to show what they know through really authentic, real world assignments. There's an example at the bottom you can read. But, I think that this is a way where, I think back to my students when I was a teacher who would raise their hand and say, Ms. Green, why do we have to do this? I don't get it. How does this help me in real life? And at Portal, a student would never, or if a student asked that question, a teacher would be able to give a really good answer. We're never just doing something for a state test, for example. Competency-based education. This is the next way that we really personalize learning for kids. There's a lot here and it's complicated. So just to keep this at a really high level, rather than using like a traditional A through F rating scale, we assess students based on a 4-point scale. 4 is mastery. So really the goal is to master these different competencies or skills that are overarching and cross between disciplines. So a competency might present itself in humanities and math and science, for example. The goal is that when students demonstrate mastery, when they show that they know something, they can move on. So pacing is personalized. If a student needs more time, they can take more time. And students have many opportunities to show mastery. When I first learned something, I'm never very good at it. But after multiple exposures and learning and going deeper, we can all move towards mastery, is the philosophy. Additionally, Portal Schools utilizes a unique schedule. And so this schedule is designed so that, again, we can personalize for students. 3 days a week are what we call studio days. This year, they're Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Studio days are where we have our whole group, whole class collaborative learning experiences. So this is where students are enrolled in, an hour and a half block schedule for humanities, math, science, foreign language. And then on those days, our teachers, who we call coaches, really serve as guides or facilitators of really interactive, lively learning that is in person at the school site. We also, this year on Tuesdays and Fridays, offer flex days. Flex days can happen in person or off-site. The majority of our students come in person 5 days a week, but we anticipate that with time, students might choose to work off-site more frequently on those flex days. Every student will be doing something slightly different on a flex day. So some students would be perhaps meeting with their teacher or their coach in a small group to go deep on a topic that they need to learn more about. Other students might be working on a project that is maybe due in a couple of days. So they'll be meeting in their small group. And then other students might be working on what we call playlists. And playlists are, you can think of like as a project management tool. So a tool that a student uses to organize what they need to accomplish on a given flex day. And again, that would be personalized by the student. So students would contribute to their playlist. The coaches or teachers would contribute to the playlist, and perhaps even someone from like Belkin International, the company we're partnered with. I'm going to skip this for the sake of time, but we can always email this around. Students really drive a lot of the learning at Portal. And so just to quickly highlight, we have student-led conferences, and those happen twice throughout the year, so 1 per semester. We also have exhibition nights, and this is a time where students really share their portfolio or their learning over the course of the year. So we want to make sure students are empowered to really drive their learning rather than a teacher or a coach saying like, here's what you learned, here's your grade. Students are really saying like, here's my best work. Here's where I started. Here's where I ended up. My portfolio demonstrates my growth and my successes. The idea is that a portfolio could then also follow a student beyond Portal. So maybe it's something they use in college admissions or when they apply for their first job, for example. College coursework at Portal is really unique. There's a lot of text on this slide, but I'll kind of break it down for you. So there is, at just a high level, a lot of research that shows that students who take college classes while in high school tend to do better when they matriculate to college because they have exposure, experience. They're familiar with the rigor of college classes and have gotten a lot of support in high school, so they know what they're getting themselves into. We have built a college coursework sequence that is designed to be transferable, meaning that when students take a college class through Portal, they can then transfer that college credit to a university when they matriculate there. So the idea is that if you want to go to UCLA, if you want to go to NYU, if you want to go to Cal State Dominguez Hills, you could take those credits with you and save time and money when you start college. We've created these different paths that are stackable on top of each other. So this allows students, again, to personalize. They can sort of opt in or out of college credit as they see fit. So you can see here on the left, there's this exposure path. This is what every student will take, a minimum of 6 college classes. For example, right now, our 10th graders, many of them for foreign language, are taking a Spanish class through West LA College. Additionally, many of our 10th graders, I think all of our 10th graders actually, are taking a English class through Arizona State University. So both of those courses double count for high school and college coursework that will save kids, again, time and money. Once students complete those 6 foundational college courses, they have an option to add on additional college classes if they so choose. And those college classes would really be focused on where the student wants to maybe specialize. And many of those would be offered through Arizona State University. For example, if a student's like, I know I really want to be a STEM major in college, I'm going to take some higher level math and science classes at Arizona State University to learn more, to set my application apart in college, and maybe save and not have to take those foundational courses when I head there. The last that I won't spend much time on the paths is this pathway towards a bachelor's degree. So students have the option where if they want to stay on at Portal for a 5th year, they can transfer all of those college credits that they earned into a Southern New Hampshire university, and in 1 extra year, finish their bachelor's degree. Of our students right now, we probably have 2 or 3 that want to pursue this path. So I wouldn't say it's like the most common option, but it gives students lots of flexibility. All right, so moving on to career-connected learning. I think this is one of the coolest things about Portal, and really what makes us super unique. So just to highlight here, this is Isaac in the center with his mentor. His mentor's name is Oliver, and he is the VP of design, the vice president of design at Belkin. And they meet monthly and have these really like deep dive structured mentoring sessions. They met last year, they'll meet again this year. The idea here is that every student gets lots of career exposure and experience while in high school. The engagements are on the left. These are the experiences that every student will have. So right now we do career workshops. Those can be offered with our Belkin partners, or we're having folks from Snapchat, from Google, and from other companies come in and lead hour-long presentations where students can, learn a lot, then reflect, deep dive into different case studies. We also have the mentorship that's both one-on-one and small group that I just talked about. We also do something called design challenges. These are really cool. Last year, our 9th graders spent 2 weeks doing a deep dive on a real world challenge that Belkin was facing. So the specific challenge was something around how can we get more individuals to buy our Belkin products on Amazon. And so students were given some data, they interviewed people at Belkin, and then they went and did a bunch of research and came back with viable solutions for the Belkin team. Lastly, students also will have an opportunity for these really like industry deep dive experiences. So doing things like job shadowing, where maybe they spend a week shadowing someone at a company, or internships that happen typically in junior and senior year. We've aligned all of these engagements to competencies. Competencies are kind of like those skills that students are building. So industry awareness. How can I learn a lot about all the different types of industries so that I know kind of what I want to do, and learn more about, where I want to go after Portal. Skip a couple slides and go to this one. So there's much more to who we are than just academics. We also have a really robust student life and student culture. I think Portal, because we're a small school, it's such a welcoming and warm community. And I think you'd feel that if you came on campus. A couple of unique things we do. We have this time in January called winter term, where we step away from our typical academics and students can deep dive into like more interest driven career exposure, but also just like learning about things that they want to learn about. We offer electives that are student driven. So we poll our students, we figure out what they want, and we try to make sure that the rotating electives meet those interests. So we've offered a variety of like arts electives, coding, movement-based electives. We have a student government. We also offer after school extracurriculars that are student-led clubs. So right now we have something like 6 or 7 student-led clubs. We have a social media club, a cooking club, Dungeons and Dragons club, a number of others. And then Adventure Club is a club that goes out and does things like rock climbing, biking. What else have they done? Kayaking, just to name a few. I know we're running out of time, but I think in terms of admissions, just to quickly highlight, the application has a couple of different components. We want to make this simple and easy, but we also want to make sure that you have plenty of time to get to know us and we have time to get to know you. So it's sort of this, I think the admissions process is unique because we want you to be assessing us and making sure it's a good fit as much as we're like learning about your family. So we ask for this like general application that's pretty quick, 2 letters of recommendation, your transcripts from middle school, and then we do an interview with every family and student. And then in terms of tuition, so we are a tuition-based school. Our tuition is $22,000 a year. That said, we provide significant need-based financial aid, and I can't emphasize this enough. We want to make sure that what you are able to, we take into account what you are able as a family to contribute, and then we can bridge the gap between the full cost of tuition and what is affordable to your family. We use a financial aid application system called TADS. And, like I said, 65% of our families are on financial aid. It might even be slightly higher. These are some quotes from our families, but we can send this around. I don't want to spend too much time on that. I'll put this up so you can see the QR code, and I'd love to answer questions if there's time.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Val. And we do have a couple minutes here at the end of our time together. So what questions might families have at this time? And Val, maybe you can put your email in the chat directly as well. So if they want to.
Absolutely.
Cool.
And I know I just talked a lot and shared a lot, so.
No, that's okay. It's what I do every Friday as well.
I feel like I was talking really fast trying to get through it. Any
Well, cool.
questions?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, there we go. There's a question in the chat.
Yeah, that's a good question, Nicole. So there aren't formal sports at Portal. Because we're a small school, we don't have enough students to have a full formal sports team. I don't want to make any promises, but we have been exploring relationships with other schools to try to see if our students can play on their sports teams. So we continue to have those conversations. Though, if sports are a priority, if school-based sports are a priority for your family, we might not be the best fit. Other questions?
Hi, yes. I want to know, I apologize, I came in a little late on your presentation. How many students are at your school?
Yeah, so our school will be 60 students next year. We're a micro school. Right now we have 40 students. We're accepting 29th graders for next year. And then we're also likely opening a second campus. I think we're opening it. We'll know in the next month. We'll know by like November 15th. And if we do open that campus, we would probably accept 39th graders there. And I imagine that campus would be in sort of South Santa Monica. Any other questions?
One more.
Yeah,
Sorry, I'm just curious. I mean, that's really small. I was just wondering, since it is so small, I mean, I don't know if you discussed it before, but how do the students feel it being so small? Do they feel like they're missing out on anything or?
Yeah, I mean, I think that that would be a really good question to ask at the open house if you want to come, or we could even schedule a conversation with you and another parent or a family. I think it is both a tremendous strength of portals that we're so small. Every student is really known, really valued. The community is super tight. And I know that our students, in some cases, like, do want certain things that like the bigger schools offer. So we try to mirror emulate some of that. So we have a school dance, we do a camping trip. But it's a really different experience than like a Venice High. And so if your student knows they want to be a part of a big school community, then Portal wouldn't be a good match. But if they know that they want to kind of deep dive and have this more personalized experience that is career focused, then we offer real benefits there.
Don't worry, Val, that's exactly the same thing I tell elementary families when they're looking at Katherine Johnson. Similar to Portal, we kind of see our size as one of our strengths. And what we tend to notice at Katherine Johnson is that in addition to the STEM bit of it, a lot of families do end up choosing Katherine Johnson because they want and desire that small feel and that small flavor to a school. So I'm super thrilled at continuing to partner with Val and the folks at Porter Schools. And so we've recorded this presentation, and so this will be up on our YouTube channel in the next couple of days or so. And just a few final announcements before we wrap up. I'm about out of time. Just as a reminder, next week we do have 5 days of school next week. However, Wednesday and Thursday are minimum days next week, so all students are dismissed at 1:23 p.m. on those 2 days. And you can definitely check out Class Dojo for all of the upcoming events and dates and early releases and things like that. And then, yeah, and I'm looking forward to getting better and being back on campus next week and seeing all your students as your children as they continue to learn. And we'll continue our coffees with the principal every Friday. I believe next week, either next week or the week after, we have another guest from one of our nearby high schools who's going to share with us. And then just as a reminder, the last Friday in October, I'm going to be doing Coffee with the Principal live and in person at the Playa Vista Public Library. So mark your calendars for that. That'll be my first Coffee with the Principal live in several years. So I'm looking forward to that. Anyway, I want to thank you all for joining us today. Thank you, Valerie, and thank you for our families. Have a great weekend and a wonderful Friday. Bye-bye.